Okay, so good evening to everyone and welcome to, I think this is my fourth presentation about Blackboard Ally, and I was expecting more people to join, but I think we are only around 11 or 12 folks here, but I'm glad that all of you, are able to take off time in this evening to join me. The presentation, I believe it should take no more than 35 to 40 minutes, unless we do have a lot of questions. But please feel free to ask any question whilst I'm moving along with the presentation. And I want it to be as interactive as possible. And please, we are here to kind of learn from each other, but at the same time, don't hold up anything. If you do have any question, just, go on and just ask me so that I can really cover every single topic that we have today. And if there are some certain stuff that doesn't make sense to you, please, let me know. So this is the topic that I put together, the agenda, talking to you a little bit about Ally. And I'm going to show you and also demonstrate to you the instructor experience using Ally, Blackboard Ally. I will also share with you the student experience and some of the strategy that we put in place moving forward to bring more people on board. And if there are questions, we can take that at the end. But once again, I'm encouraging you to ask questions whilst we move on. And I do have some few Ally, Blackboard Ally resources that I have on the PowerPoint that I will share with you. So without wasting any time, let me start by saying that I just want to give you a little bit of definition of what Ally is. Now, I believe for the past maybe 4 or 5 years, City Colleges of Chicago have been working very diligently to bring forth the importance of designing courses that are accessible. Accessibility has been at the front end of any work that we do, but the focus hasn't been there until I would say 3 to 4 years ago. Now, we came across this particular product called Ally, which is a tool that can be easily integrated into any elements. When I'm saying elements, I'm referring to learning management system. In our case here, I'm referring to Brightspace. And once you integrate it into Brightspace, it will behind the scene convert every document that you have in the course into an accessible format. But the beauty of that format is that when it changes it to the format, it makes the format not one or two, but a multiple kind of format that student can have access to. In other words, student with any kind of problem, whether we are talking about disability, people can see, cannot hear well, or they are using any other application like JAWS, which are, as the screen readers. Once you have Ally working behind the scene to change or to convert the materials or the content, students will be able to have access to that accessible format that they can download and use it in lieu of the actual document that you put there. Now, apart from that, I also want to stress that accessible or accessibility here doesn't only refer to folks who have, or students who have any kind of challenges. Now, as a student, if I learn better by listening to something, you do have an audio version of that content that student can download and use instead of waiting to read pages over pages. Now, that is something that students who in general do not have any kind of challenge in terms of accessibility issue can have access to that. They can do that. So in a nutshell, that is what Ally does. Now, as an instructor, what is going to happen is that we have started using this particular product by kind of selecting few courses during this semester. The summer 2021, we have few courses that we went in to turn on the Ally Blackboard to ensure and see how it works after we ourselves have played with it so many times. So what is it going to be the experience for faculty? Now, when you have access to a course which has Ally integrated in it, These are the main indications that you will see. It will tell you that the file that you put there is either have a low, which is mean that it doesn't have a good accessibility. It will also tell you have a medium kind of accessibility, but will need improvement. It tells you also the last two, green, high, and a perfect. And of course, the first two one are the one that will catch your attention. So when you create a document and you upload it, you will see that Allah will be behind the scene and turning and give some kind of encoding or score to that particular document, telling you whether is he a red, that means very low, that you have to work on immediately. Is he an orange, which is medium, that still need improvement? Or is he high, which is, I would say, green? And the last green normally is a kind of a darker green, which makes it so perfect that you don't have to do anything. But I'm normally encouraging faculty that when they are working on any document, they should use the third one, which is the high, to be the standard. The perfect, yeah, you may not get the perfect, but at least anything over 85%, 80% will be good. So that is what you see. Now, the type of files that works with Blackboard Blackboard Ally are the following. So if you do have a PDF documents, yes, the Ally will be able to convert that. You do have a Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, or we have an Open Office. Open Office is a free, kind of is close to Microsoft Word. It's a free office that you use. Now, I would also like to point out that city colleges may not have enough support for it, but we know that they use it. Some student or some faculty would like to use it. And also, if you do have an uploaded the HTML files, images, a YouTube video that you embed into the content area. By the content area, it means that you embed in such a way that you are making use of the what you see is what you get HTML content. The Ally Blackboard or Blackboard Ally will be able to look at it and work on it and tell you whether this is a perfect, this is a high, a low, or a medium. It will tell you that. So what happened, this is some kind of a screenshot of what you will see once it's turned on in your course. So I just uploaded this, the following document here to show you how it's going to be. So when you log into the course and you click under the module, because everything is normally under the content. So if you type directly into Brightspace, this is where you have the web, which is the HTML. Depending on what you did, you are close, that is a high. If you uploaded a schedule, which is a Word document, it tells me that I need to work on it. It came as a yellow. I uploaded another one, which is a PDF. It tells me that no, this is a serious one that I have to work on, at least bring it up to, to be this one. And the same thing for PowerPoint. And if I have a video that I also uploaded in the contents, through the Brightspace, this is what it's telling you. So this is an indication of how it's going to look like. But in the minute, I'll go also into do some kind of a live demonstration of what it works. So once you upload a document in it and you see the link or that particular icon, you click on it. And once you click on it, it's going to give you an accessibility score. It will tell you that this example, it tells me that it has 28%. And if you are 28%, it means that, of course, what is wrong with it is going to point you to that. It tells you before, for this one, for example, it's telling you that some of the issue that you have is that the document contains images that are missing a description. So it gives you all the stuff that are wrong, encoding code with the document in order for you to make it as a perfect or as a fully accessible one. Now, how to fix that is another discussion that we are going to have. That means there are so many processes that you have to go through to fix this document to become accessible. I'm not going to go through that right now because that is another discussion or another workshop that I'm going to work with folks from DAC, Disability Access Center, and see how we can teach pretty much every faculty, whether you are teaching online, you are teaching a hybrid, or you are teaching face-to-face. We are going to do that, let out. But my concentration here is to just tell you how this particular application works and we work on how you can make it better, you make use of it. And also at the end of the day, we do have also one feature that you make use of, which is gonna give you a total score of a whole for your course. This one, as an example, I'm using here Astronomy 201, the 8-week master shell. It tells me that my total score is 45%, which is well below our threshold. Our requirement here, it wants it to be 80%. So now, apart from that, the beauty of it, how to fix it, is that it tells you where you can go to start fixing it. So these are the things that it's going to show you. So in a minute, I'm going to take you directly into a course, a live course, and show you exactly how it looks like when you go there. So most of the time, what happens is that when you go into the course, you saw a particular score, you want to see what is going on with the score, you click on the icon and you see it. Or you can go directly and clicking on your instructor report tool, which is mostly for that particular course. And once you click on that, it gives you information about all the content with low score item. Because when you take care of this, the score from that 45% can easily jump up to 50, 16, and to 80. Done. You working on the one that have a minor things that you have to work on. Now, one thing you should not be very afraid of, in this case, you could see that it has 4 out of 105 files or document do have this low score. So it means that there must be a huge number of files in the course, and most of them do below the require or the desirable score for that particular course. So that means that now you do have to take more time to go in and clean up these courses and make sure that you make these courses more accessible. So let me go in and show you how we can do that. So I'm going to bring up a course, and I hope you can all see that. Can you all see the Astronomy 201 course? Can you all see this?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so guys, when I ask question, please just let me know if you can, so that we can all do it. So I'm in this course, I'm assuming, once again, you come to content. And once you go to content, you will be able to see your normal content issue. So if right now, I want to make sure that, say, there's the first step in making sure that you use Ally is that normally all our online courses, I can tell you for sure, we've already included or integrated the Ally as a tool in the course. So for those of you who are here who normally teach online, when we do a course copy for you in the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks, you should normally go to README. When you go to README, go all the way to existing activities, click on external learning tools, and you should see the Ally instructor report tool. You should see it down there. And if it is not already in the course, please just go ahead and click on this and add it. So when you click on it, it's going to be added. Now, I did add it to it because I already have one. I wanted to show how it is done. So you add it, it is here, right here. Now, when you see that, the next step that you have to take is that you click on it, and it's going to give you a score of your course, how it looks like as of today. Now, I also would like to say this. I know most of the master course that you are going to get, if I say we, the department, was in charge of creating that. So if you go in and you look at it, it's this much low, don't panic. It has nothing to do with you per se. It's now our job. That's what job means, the department online learning work, working with DAC. We are going to work together and see how we can clean up the course, work on making sure that most of the documents are accessible. We are going to work on that. So do not panic when you see this, that, oh, okay, I didn't put the course together. I have 45%. What am I going to do? Please don't take it that way. We are working behind the scene to make sure that most of our courses that we will copy for you, at least beginning spring, all of them are going to meet the minimum 80%. So we are now working on that. So In this case, or in this particular example, you could see that we have 45% for the astronomy. So if this is your course, the first thing you can do is to try to fix this low scoring content. And how do you do that? You click on the start button here, and it's gonna give you the list of all of them. And it tells you the list by issue. Now, I made it to be the list to the highest. You can change it by changing the score from the highest to the lowest. It's up to you. So the score here, as you can see, the highest scores are all 33%, and the low scores are all starting from 5%. But I normally make it that I want to see the lowest first before I go to the highest. So these are all the courses that you have with all these documents that have issue. So to see that, you can click on the actual document itself. It's going to open, and it's now going to tell you in a nutshell what is wrong with that. So it's opening, and you can see on the right side here, this is pretty much a PowerPoint, and it's telling you that this is what is wrong with it. It's have 5%, as you can see. You do have 5%. It's telling us that the PDF is untagged. Now, a PDF which is untagged just means that students, when they use any screen reader, it will not be able to really read it well for students to understand what is the content of it. So it brings you it tells you what it means. It gives you step-by-step instruction on what is wrong with the document and how you can fix it. So if I say, what does it mean? It tells you, give you a definition of that. It means blah, blah, blah. It give you all the definition. I'm not going to read it back to you. Give all the definition. And you say, how do you fix it? It tells you, it gives you a step. Is it a document that is editable, or you change from, let's say, PowerPoint to PDF? It gives you all that. Now, I also like to point out that one thing we learn is that it's not every single document that we have in Brightspace that you normally get the how to fix it. We contacted, when we were getting the product, we had a discussion with a representative from Ally, and they told us that they are working on doing some of them, but majority of them, you see a step-by-step instruction on how you can fix them. So if you come here, you click on it, you don't see that, oh, Selam said, it tells us how to fix it, and there's nothing yet. Yes, some of them you may not see these instructions, so do not panic on that. So this is what it tells you. So this is what you will see as a faculty telling you what is wrong with it. Now, once you are done, you do have a way of, where after looking at it, if you know it involves a lot of work, you can close it and go back and download it and work on it. You can do that. That is very simple. You can do that. Now, the one other important information I would like to share with you is that when you go into the course and you see a document that you can work on to make it more accessible, I will say, and I will own up to the fact that changing document, making it accessible may not be as easy as we all of us thought. It requires some few help, and you can normally step into DAC, asking for help to see whether they can help you work on those documents, because that is something that we can all work together. Because I understood, at least when I started presenting this, that folks thought I'm now the go-to accessibility person. So I'm getting calls from everyone across district about, I have this, how can I fix it? No, I'm not the point person for accessibility. It happens that I just work with this particular application, which works in a way of making sure that courses that we put online are all accessible. So in a nutshell, this is how you see or you work with when it comes to the various. So once again, if you take time and you explore the course, right now it is not turned on, but the decision is that when we come to fall, every single course online being offered across the district, online, face-to-face, or adult education, any course that has been hosted on Brightspace is going to have Ally integrated in it. So we are not limiting ourselves to only online learning. It's everybody. You should be able to see that. So you see all the information here. Now, the next thing I would like to point to you is this. Once you see this, there's also alternative formatting, which I'm going to cover in a minute, but I just wanted to browse it, is that this alternative format is normally for students to use. This is what the student use. Student will click on this, and once they click on it, it tells them the availability of all the formats that is there for them to download. So these are the following one for this particular document, which is a PDF. It tells them that they do have the HTML, the ePub, ePub, standing for, I think, electronic publication, the electronic Braille, the audio, and the beeline reader. But let me go back and just tell you what happens on the student experience. So just give me a second. I'm going to show you that. So from here, when we go to the student experience, the first thing which is I was telling you is that for students, one thing they need to know is that there are alternative accessible. There's a word, important word is accessible formats for them to use. Now, a student may not have any challenges, no matter any disabilities, or will not need any accommodation, can still make use of this. And I was telling you from the beginning that me as a person, I like listening to things. For example, let's assume that, in a math class being taught by Professor Ruth Malta, and she put together a great document, which is going to give me some idea about the next assignment. Instead of me sitting down and read it, if I'm on the train and I'm able to log in into my Brightspace with my iPad or my mobile device, I can just go in and click on the Ally icon and download the audio version of that particular document and listening to it whilst I'm on the train, getting ready, because I know that when I get home, the first thing I'm going to do is I just get myself together and now start, working on that particular assignment. So, but I don't have any, any disability or anything, but maybe I learn better by actually using audio. So those folks, anybody can make use of this. So that is to say that you don't have to have any kind of require any accommodation on the part of the student before you can make use of any of this. They can use it if they want to. Now, the files that you can use, as I say at the beginning, is that when any file that you put into Brightspace, Ally should be able to check some of them. And I already covered the one here by saying that anything when it comes to PDF format or the Word document and PowerPoint, and we have images and the YouTube videos, he can, Ally will be able to check that. Now, when you check it, the alternative format that it actually produce are the one here on the right side of the page, which is if you do have a scanned document, we know that sometimes you want the document to put in the course, you can go ahead and scan it and put it. But when you put a scanned document, it cannot be read. So it actually changes that to ORC, which is a readable kind of a PDF document, or a tag one that I will talk about this in a minute, or you can have a semantic HTML. HTML pretty much you just have an HTML document, which is so easy you can read, or you have the audio version of that particular document, or the ePub. ePub is mostly used, as I say, electronic publications. If it is a book and a student has an iPad or an Android device, the student can download that and just listen to it. You can do that, okay, even read it if they want to. And of course, for those who are blind or who are challenged with the eye vision, can use that for their electronic Braille. So those are some of the stuff that he actually do. So when we talk about tagged PDF, why do we need it? You need a tagged PDF, mostly if you want to be able to copy and paste or look for some text on a particular page, because after downloading it, if a PDF file is not tagged, you cannot search word on it. You cannot do that. And you can also, if you prefer to read, or you are commuting, you want to study, yeah, you can use it. You can download that particular one and use it. The same thing goes to the HTML. HTML, as I say, is one of the simplest way you can read. Anything digital, if you put in HTML, it's so simple and easy that you can use it. And another thing you can do is that you can put it once again on your mobile. You can also, if you want some kind of, have a speech to text to adjust it, you can also make use of that. And we do have a lot of free resources out there that you can use such a way that whatever you downloaded can be read back to you. Or if you don't want to use the audio version of that. Another thing, as I stated, is the audio. The audio, may be kind of a little bit sometimes even difficult for folks who are visually impaired. So because you cannot see what is written, but you can download the audio version of that particular document and you'll be able to listen to exactly what the person is saying. So you have the materials, you will get a very good description of it, make use of it, and you get this as a way of learning whatever document you need to before you take an exam, or showcase your understanding or mastery of a particular concept. And as I was saying about the ePub, which stands for electronic publication, is mostly for textbooks. And if you do have those Kindle and you have Kindle, you're able to log in with your Kindle, you can download the electronic version of your textbook. Or if it is an OER, you can do that. You download it, and with your ePub, and you should be able to read everything on that particular page without going through the hassle of downloading and do that. You can do that. And finally, electronic format may be the one which is very specific for folks who are visually impaired. If you have seen it before, you see that they pretty much use their hand to touch things to make sure that they can get understanding of what is reading. So you have to be familiar with that to be able to use it, of course. And folks who are visually impaired are the ones that normally make use of it. So a document that you put in Brightspace, and when Blackboard Ally is there, is going to change that particular document to all these different accessible formats, which is a beauty. I mean, it's something that has pretty much in revolutionized the whole way of making sure that different types of accessible format have been put together for students. So to show you how it works, let me go back into the course itself, which I'm using as an example. And I will just demonstrate to you what students will normally see. All right, so as a student, when you are in the course, and let's assume that you came here to, maybe I'm under unit number 2, and I wanted to read the lecture number 7. Have them click on this. This is normally for you. The accessibility color coding here is normally an indication to you, faculty, to know that this particular document have a low score. You need to work on it. But for the student, I don't think they don't even see this. So let me go if I want. I don't know whether, I think I did this last time, but you were changing it as a student. I'm changing my my role as a student. I'm back here. They don't even see the color. Okay, so let me go back to here. All right. So you see the color is not showing up here. The color is, as I say, is mostly for you as an instructor. Here as a student, what the student needs to do is that they just have to click on the A with the downward arrow, which is given the alternative format. So when you click on that, it's going to open up. Now it tells me which one do I want to use. If, let's assume that I want an audio version of that, I have to select the audio and download it. It will download directly onto your machine or onto your digital device, and you can play that back. The same way, if I just wanted to have the HTML, which I say HTML is one of the easiest way because it makes the text very simple. So let me use HTML. I selected the HTML and I'm going to download it. So it may take some few seconds. It may take some few seconds to download, depending on how it is. For this one here. So once it's downloaded, you can just click on it and open it, and you should be able to see a version of that PowerPoint the way it was put together. It's taking longer than I thought. Maybe I should have downloaded it earlier before the presentation. I think I just learned something. I will do that next time. I'll just download it before the presentation so that when I come here, I will just show it to you instead of all of you waiting. Whilst you are waiting on this, do you guys have any questions so far? Any question for me or anything that doesn't make sense, please?
Hey, Simone, this is
sorry, go ahead,
go ahead.
Steve.
Go ahead, bro. I'll ask my question after you.
So is this for both students as well as the teachers, or only the students can convert?
No, both. Students can make use of it, and also teachers, yes, both.
Teachers.
Yeah.
Hey, Simone. This is Stephen. I just had a quick question in case other instructors were thinking about it. Do we know if, and you may not have an answer right now, but when Ally creates an audio content, do you know if students get an option to select which language? So let's say if, Spanish is my language, can I switch it to a different language? Do you know?
Yes, we actually have the option of turning on what we call the foreign language. It's only that when we were talking originally, we decided not to turn it on. But if this is something that they will make use of, it, we can. As an admin, because of my access, I think I can show you to you. I don't know why it's taking too long. But okay, you can do that. So if I want to, just give me a second. You can turn it on, but when we were working on this, we made a decision not to, turn it on. But if we have a lot of faculty who are for popular demand from students, we can do so. So what we can do here is that, let me show you. I mean, you guys may not have access to this, but I'm just showing it to you so that you know that we do have it. So when I click on the home with my access, I can go to admin and I can go to, I believe, institutional reports. I think it's the institutional report, which you don't have access to as an instructor. No, it's not institutional report. Let me see whether admin, is it custom reporting? Yeah, because she showed us something last time, and I saw it when I came back. I was able to see that you can, either turn it on, you can do this. Let me see. Okay, so from here, I go to feature. And I believe there was another one here. One second. That we can, yeah, this is it.
Look at the top, it says translated. Right.
This is the one. So I have, sorry. So I have to enable it, which we didn't do. Now, of course, once again, the product was bought with the intention to make sure that students can make use of it. So if there is a popular, or we think that we can use it, what you say is true, because when I was learning how to speak English and I started going to class, anything I seen in French, I read it in French. I mean, in English, I try to read it first in French in my mind to make sense of it, which, is normal before I get to, yeah. So what you just say is true. But if that is, we do have folks who are interested in that, I can work with Syed and see whether we can turn on the translated version. We can do that. I hope I answered your question, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, but so far we haven't, but that is what we did. So to come back to this, I know it's taking, a few minutes, but, maybe on my next one, as I told you, I'm going to make sure I download it already, both the audio and this, before we come. So the student just have to click on this. Once they click on it, they will see a list of formats available, and they will download the one that they like, and they make use of that. So that is the way they make use of that. So it's simple, straightforward. That's all they have to do. It's only that you, as an instructor, when you are teaching a particular course, you have to make sure that, when you see that yellow, that red stuff, you need to work on that and make sure that you work on the turning them on to become a green. Because as I say, what the plan is to make sure that our courses, all our courses, have at the minimum 80% a score. That is what we are shooting for, to become accessible. So coming back to the presentation, what I would say is that once the student work on that, once again, there is not going to be any issue. Now, moving forward, what we are looking for is that workshop, open workshop. This is, as I said, this is going to be my third or my fourth presentation that I'm doing today. And I plan to do another one, of course, on Friday. And I'll also, submitted a presentation for the FDW, just so that people are aware of it. Because I know, as you all know, there will be faculty who, after receiving all this email, will not attend, but will come and call you after all the training that they still need help. But I want to make sure that I put as many training out there as possible. So what we want a faculty to do also is that we want to encourage you to understand the fact that, look, accessibility now is part of everyday work design. We are using what we call the universal design principle to make sure that every course you put online, accessibility is something that you need to look into. You are working on a document, just make sure that you are aware of whatever font you are using. What is the color you are using? You do have a graphic. Does the graphic have an alt text? That alternative text explain what the graphic is. Or you are using an audio. Do you have a transcript for that audio? You are using a video. Do you have a caption for that video? There are a lot of stuff that once you are working on a document, those things should be running through your head and make sure that, oh, do I have all this together? Not only that, as I say, we are making sure that all our courses that we want to have, at least in the next 2 years or something, all of them at the minimum should be at a threshold of 80%. And also, you should formally introduce this particular application to your student enrolling in your courses. They may not know that is, as for example, those of you who are teaching online, I'm really strongly encouraging you during your first live section, Zoom section, please, take one moment once you are taking if you plan to take them through the course, to give them a course talk, tell them where your syllabus, is going to be, where is your quizzes is going to be, all the stuff. Just take time and tell them, hello, by the way, you see this A with this arrow, this is what we refer to as an alternative formatting of document. So you can give them a quick, just 1 minute line. If you are one of those folks who like to learn listening, this document I put here, you can download an audio version for you. You can download it, you can listen to it. If you are having problem with the color coding and something, you do have this particular format that you can use. Let them know about it and encourage them to use it. That is really important. And as I stated also at the beginning, is that we've already selected few courses that we are piloting this summer, and they all have Ally integrated in them. So I'm working with those faculty behind the scene, and I even sent out, I believe, some kind of a survey to see how things are going on. And we are going to use those feedback, and plan when we getting ready to do a rollout for the Ally for all courses starting in fall 2021. And finally, I also like to point out to you that the role, we need support from the department and from DAC, making sure that these things are taken care of. Now, I stated from the beginning that the presentation today is mainly about how Ally works behind the scene and what you see, how you work about it. Now, how to fix a particular document, it is another stuff altogether. That means another training that you have to go through. If you see a document that you see a Word document which has something like, let's say, 25% accessibility scoring, it may involve a lot of steps to fix it, from table, headings, color, hyperlink. There's a lot of stuff that you have to look into. That particular training, we want to have a DAC working with us to see how they can provide from each of the colleges, actually, to provide those training for faculty on how they can fix those things. So that is why when you use it, you see that we would like to target at least specific courses with low score so that we can improve on that, working on them gradually, make sure. And once again, I'm not expecting you to get it done in the next 2 days or something. It's going to be a gradual but consistent effort on the part of everyone to make sure that whatever we have in our courses, is kind of mostly accessible for students to use. So that is, what I wanted to discuss with you tonight. So I think, yes, we are able to make it to the 40-minute, which I was shooting for. And I'll pause to see whether you do have any question for me.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, this is Sophie. I'm the DAC director at Wright College.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi. Good. So first, I think this tool is amazing, and I really hope professors start coming to the workshops and start using it as we gear up for fall 2021. I think I'm the only DAC director on here, but I know you mentioned some other training for us, and is it possible, I've watched this, it makes sense as I'm watching you do it, but can the DAC directors get a course shell so that we can also play around with the software? And then so it's kind of hard not to have access to the software and then be expected to help the professors?
Oh, yes, of
Yeah,
course.
so I'm like, oh, I don't really know. I haven't used it myself.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I know,
yes,
I
I
know,
think
I
I can
know
make it
about it.
happen. Yes, I think that if you, I can, that's, we can make it happen. All
Okay.
you need to do for me is that, like I said at the beginning, normally the whole idea is to turn it on for 4 courses. That's, and I believe all the shells that we currently have in Brightspace, they should normally have this particular application turned on. Now, if it doesn't have any content, of course, you will not be able to see how the application, how it works. Now, let's assume that you are going to teach, or one of your colleagues is going to teach, let's say CS 101 in 4. If you know the course, that particular course name, of course, and the ID, send it to me. I can go behind the scene and make sure that I turn it on, so that once you are uploading document, you will see the integration of the Ally working behind the scene, and you can play with it before the start of the semester. We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, so yeah, I'll follow up in an email because I think I'm the only deck director on here. I want to make sure that we get the training that we need so that then we can start helping faculty as they start coming back to campus.
Of course, yes.
Perfect.
Yes, yes, you do, you have access to it. Yeah, please.
Oh, and then one other question. Are there going to be, I know you talked about professors talking about this resource for students. Is there going to be workshops for students?
Good question. What we can do, my colleague Stephen Bradford and I, we normally do the online student orientation. So part of that, once we are doing it, we can tell them that, look, beginning this semester, you end up having or seeing this particular icon and stuff. This is what it will. We will do some kind of a quick orientation to them. Now, unfortunately, I don't do orientation for face-to-face or hybrid student. It's only online that I work with.
Okay.
But of course, any student taking online class, a face-to-face class, if they want to join the online, we normally post our online schedule on the CCC online learning website that they can come into. They can attend, but we don't specifically do those orientation. So I think what you brought up is important. Maybe one thing we can also do on our part is that maybe I'll reach out to at least those Dean of Student Services and advisors to let them know about it. And even if there is a need for me to do a quick introduction to the product to them, so that once they have student on campus or they are doing the orientation for face-to-face student, they can also touch on this particular resource. We can do that.
Or what I'm thinking is maybe if there could be a short video, you guys record one of your sessions, and then we can post it on the DAC district webpage as a resource. That'd be great.
Oh, yes. Thank you for that. I think we can do that. Yes, definitely. We can definitely do that. Thank you for the suggestion, please.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? Marwan, Simon is there? Mike, Vincent, Victoria, any question?
This is Marwan. I'm fine. It was very clear. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Tatiana. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. I just wanted, this is Stephen again. I just wanted to add to what Salome stated, just to reiterate 2 things. One is that with this tool, again, we know that anybody who's teaching online and getting our master courses that we know for fall, if you were to run the report, some of the courses may be low. We are working on those behind the scene, and we do not expect you to try to fix those courses. However, as we move forward, the whole reason why Salome introduced this tool to you is that if you look at our master course and you decide you want to add a PDF or a PowerPoint or something of that nature to the course, you need to be aware of whether it's accessible or not. And we do expect for you to try. I mean, again, like Salome said, it is a whole nother type of training, but Blackboard Ally does walk you kind of through step-by-step on how to fix it. And again, you don't have to fix it immediately. You can just kind of work on one document at a time and get those documents up to the green level. If you add a document first off and it comes up as green, that's great. Even though you'll notice that you can still improve, it's not 100%, but it's probably over the 80 or 85%, which is the minimum. But again, if you upload a document after you receive any type of master content, and it's yellow or red, and things you want to add to the course, then we really want you to try to take the time and work on fixing that document, because it should be accessible as we alter the course. And the second thing I just want to reiterate is that this tool does not fix videos. So if you're adding videos to the course later, just know we have a separate tool for that, at least for our online courses. I'm not sure if this tool is actually available district-wide for everybody else to use, but right now we're using it as we are looking at our master courses and videos that are not accessible. We are using this additional vendor to make sure that there are captions on our videos, okay? So I just want to make sure those two things were clear, all right?
Thank you for that clarification, please. Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Any other question?
No, from my side.
All right. So if there are no questions, first of all, I would like to thank you. And you give me until the end of Friday after the second presentation or workshop. I'm going to send you a copy of the slide with these resources that you can make use of. They are really great resources that, I did some research and found out, so you can also make use of them. So I will send them to you after, so expected by the, close of business day on Friday. All right. So without any question, I would like to thank each and every one of you again for coming, and I wish you you should have a wonderful evening and the rest of the semester too. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, Salam.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Salaman.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a nice night, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.